Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. So this time we are carrying on with our UK National Championship format, or UK National Championship deck profiles. So this comes from Sebastian, who actually got top 32 at this year's Nats. This was his first ever National Championship playing a truly competitive deck, and he went with Pure Sky Striker, so a really awesome list. We're going to run through it, go through the sizing strategy and the rounds, and then we'll take a look at some of the answers to questions that I asked him over Facebook Messenger. So we start off the list with triple Ash Blossom, one Diabolos, and triple Ray. Then he's playing one Toon Cyber Dragon to go with the Toon Table engine, I guess. Double Call by the Grave, one Foolish Burrow, double Pot of Desires, one Reinforcement of the Army, double Area Zero, double Afterburners, one Jamming Waves, triple Hornet Drones, triple Widow Anchor, double Multi-Roll, one base, triple Engage obviously, double Terraforming here, triple Toon Table of Contents, one Upstart Goblin, and triple Mind Crush. So very, very similar to the list that we've seen come out of previous national events. For the extra deck, obviously he's got the Mega Fleet to go with the Cyber Dragon. He's got the Utopia package here, a Borrow Load, some Nightmares with Mermaid, Phoenix there, one Link Spider in case you want to make a slightly bigger link with your tokens, then triple Kagari, a triple Shizuku, one Space Insulator, and the one Topologic Trisbana for clearing out all the back row. For the side deck, triple Droll, triple Cherries, one Toon Cannon Soldier, double Shared Ride, triple Twin Twisters, and triple Evenly Matched. Now, an important thing I think is worth mentioning is Toon Cannon Soldier. Obviously, with the new time rules, it's a very nice option that essentially is a 4-of, which allows you to win in time in certain scenarios, which is quite cool. Also, it does trigger your Diabolos as well. So let's take a look at the siding strategy that he went with. So we haven't got the spreadsheet here, but he said that siding was fairly thought out beforehand to try and save time depending on the matches. He would put in Droll versus Sky Striker or Trickstar, etc. if he was going second, if first then Shared Rides or a combination. He always sided Cannon Soldier for Cyber Dragon swap unless Mega Fleet would help out in that particular matchup specifically, and he usually took out a Desires, Upstart, Terraforming, etc., that kind of stuff. Evenly Matched and Twin Twisters were sided in against True Draco and Altergeist, obviously. He didn't really use Reapers very much and didn't feel like they did enough over some other options. He thinks he would have preferred Ghost Ogres over them because he didn't see enough mirrors to warrant it, and he didn't feel like it did enough to the Trickstar variant of the Sky Strikers. As for the rounds that he played, round 1 his opponent didn't show up. Annoyed him a bit because it means that his tiebreakers take a hit, but it is a win which does help out a little bit, but it can just be a little bit more stressful in your Swiss portion of the event. For round 2 he went against Spiral Nightmare, an interesting match back and forth. Went into game 3, he won this 2-1. Having achieved a 500 burn damage in the main phase of time with the Cannon Soldier, as I just mentioned. So round 3, he lost to True Draco, 0-2 here. Round 4 against Pure Sky Striker, he won 2-0. Round 5 against Infernoid Lair of Darkness, he won 2-0. Round 6 against Sky Striker Trickstar, or Sky Striker, Star Striker. He went 1-1 here, so we got a draw. Round 7, last round of day 1, he can't really recall the deck, but he won and finished with a record of 5-1-1. So going into day 2, round 8, he went up against ABC. His opponent was going second with Evenlies, which hit him pretty strongly, so we lost 0-2. Round 9 against Altergeist, he won this one 2-0. Round 10 against Mech Knight Invoked, he won 2-1 in time. Round 11, so this is top 64, he played against a friend, unfortunately, with True Draco. They both knew each other's matchups, and the deck, basically, and he won this one 2-1. And round 12, so top 32, against the Trickstar Sky Striker, a fairly standard match, and he lost to Scapegoats in time of game 3. So obviously this is in Top Cut, which means that they can't end on a draw, so they play until First Blood, and he lost this one 1-2. If you want the full tournament report with his comments on the matchups, check out the description. There'll be a link in there to a Google document where you can check out all of his comments on each of the matchups, because obviously I don't think I need to go through all of them now, but if you find it interesting, then it's definitely worth checking that out. So I sent him a few questions over Facebook Messenger and got his answers here, so we'll just run through them quickly now. So first off, I asked why he decided to go for the Toon Tables engine rather than the Foolish Goods engine. He said that a few others that he went to Nats with played Goki, and it's really tough outing the extra link, so he expected to see Goki at some point, and he wanted an easier main decked out to that. And also, because you get to take both of the mermaids, it makes Mega Fleet with 3600 attack, which can be really useful. Usually Goki use all of their resources to make the first board, and they have a hard time to recover if you break it. Also, he's a big fan of Pegasus, so he had to use the Toons. It was a last minute change, but the Burial build is certainly, he says, better and safer, saying that the triple Toon Tables did quite often enable a fast engage or Widow Anchor, etc. early on. In worst cases, he could use them for multi-roll, and area 0 targets and back row removal baits, that kind of thing. He also wanted another main deck out to Waking the Dragon or Ultimate Falcon, which Cyber Dragon obviously can provide, since it's usually in the extra monster zone where they summon that big, basically unbeatable monster. He decided not to play the Phantom Skyblasters. He said it's basically because it's prone to hand traps like Impermanence and Veiler, and it takes up your normal summon. It has quite a cute combo, just like the Ibli version, which allows you to make a link 4 very easily, but the Diablos puts pressure with the power that you can always get rid of it with its effect, and obviously they just have a very tough time dealing with it. Even in turn 1, it means that the opponent is playing with 1 less card, and if they've used a hand trap, that means that they have 4 cards to use on their first turn, which can be a bit of a challenge for them. He opted not to play any of the main deck sort of generic spell and trap removal outside of Waves and Afterburners, so I wanted to know if he thought it was just unnecessary to add in things like MSTs or Twin Twisters, or if it was just about finding the space and maybe he couldn't find it for the event. He said that space was a bit of an issue, but also it was partly unnecessary because in expected matchups you'd consider things like Goki or Spiral and Skystriker variants that use a lot of responsive back row or not at all, and if you see back row removal anywhere after turn 1, it has a good chance of not really achieving very much, so you don't want to be drawing it into the late game. He'd rather use the Afterburners or Jamming Waves, and after using the multi-roll effect, he can prevent your opponent from responding, which is really useful, so it allows you to sort of free remove any scapegoats, that kind of thing. Then I wanted to know how he felt about Hercules base. We saw a few people siding it. If you've been checking out the deck profiles from Nats, then you will have seen that in some of those. He said that base in the side means that game 1 mirror is really risky, since games 2 and or 3 the mirror are a little bit more volatile anyway. After siding, the player seeing Ghost Reapers and or shared rides going first, that kind of thing. There's a lot of things to take into account when you want to know whether or not you want a base. So the player who gets the advantage of all of these has a much stronger chance of winning, so he felt like it was a bit of a waste siding the card that allows you to grind through the game. He thinks that you should play it in the main or nothing, honestly. As for the Mind Crushes that he's got in the main, he said that he absolutely loved it for games 1, sided them out after knowing that he would be going second later on, and he didn't think it was really working that well after you were going second, because you just didn't want to be drawing into it. You want to be drawing into things that generate you advantage. Although it does work well against things like Candina and Kagari's Add Back and numerous other decks, and obviously cards like Super Agent as well. So he's got the 1 mermaid in the extra. A few people weren't running it at this event. He said that it was mainly just there for the Ibli, obviously, because you don't want to be locked out of the game. And if, in case he didn't see Cyber Dragon to tribute summon it, having it in the main monster zone really hurts because it prevents you from activating a lot of effects, and it means you need to see multi-roll or area 0 really quickly. So obviously having those double terraformings and the double multi-roll helps out a little bit, but it's still quite difficult to deal with. then I don't believe he played a triple Burst Dragon, but he said it would have helped against the Mirror and Scapegoats and occasional other decks, but he didn't really consider it early enough. He didn't seem to make Borreload a single time. Maybe it just happened not to be the situation for it, but there's some cool interactions that you can have with both of those, where you can equip them with Hercules Base and get their effects off twice, which is pretty cool. He enjoyed playing the Toon version, to be honest, although it wouldn't have made a difference in top 32, but he would have played the Burial version at other events. He looked for Goki outs and matches, and then didn't play against a single one in all of the rounds, but it's just how it happens, so it's a bit unfortunate that he prepared so much for that particular matchup and it just didn't happen for him. As for shoutouts that he would like to make, so shoutouts to the players from his locals who attended Nats, and Frank for an exhausting playtesting season. So thanks very much, Sebastian, for sharing your list. It's really awesome. Congratulations on getting into the top 32, especially on your first truly competitive outing. Really, really awesome to see, and a very, very solid looking true Sky Striker list, pure Sky Strikers. Great to have all of your comments on the particular engines, why you ran them, and that kind of thing as well. So good luck in future events, and hopefully we'll see you again on the channel. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.